Hey everyone, I got a 2012 Ford Escape, and here's the problem that I had this weekend. This is the old muffler system. This is actually starts at the back right here. Little flange, a little donut, hooks onto the back part of the exhaust, travels through the muffler right here. I'm going towards the front. This is a little resonator that's right here. This was a welded unit. This is what happened, broke apart here, just rusted right away. Then beyond that was a catalytic converter. So catalytic converter was extended on beyond here, and then there was another flange similar to what you see in the back there, was up in the front, sort of way up here, beyond the catalytic converter. So it was all welded together right from the back all the way to the front of the catalytic converter. So I went to my parts store, and there was an aftermarket exhaust system that you can buy, and it's two separate pieces. The muffler and the resonators joined together as one piece. Beyond that is the catalytic converter, which would have been up in, in this area. You'll see underneath the car in a second. And they said, well, you need to buy both pieces in order to replace. And I'm going, wow. So this part that you see on the floor here, $308. The catalytic converter, another $550. And I'm, wow, that's like a lot of money, for a simple exhaust system. But nonetheless, so I said, well, I'm going to go home and take some measurements and see. So at the end of the day, what happened was I was able to just buy this one piece, which was the $308, and then I was able to cut the catalytic converter off and rejoin it just using a muffler clamp, and it was a pretty simple process. So if you're even, an average auto enthusiast with very little experience, this is a pretty simple project for you to do. Going to show you the tools that I use right here. This is a reciprocating saw. It's got a metal cutting blade on it, a little bit of penetrating oil, piece of sandpaper right there. This is an extension with a 13mm socket on it. This is a ratchet with a 9/16 socket. I used a file and a little piece of chalk and a measuring tape. So I'm going to show you in underneath here sort of what I did. So underneath the car here, this is the new resonator piece that actually rusted off right about in this area. On my old one, went back into the muffler all the way back through. Then I'll show you the back part there in just a second, kind of where it connects together. Well, what I did, took my reciprocating saw when the old system was on, I cut it off right here in underneath. This is the new pipe, obviously muffler clamp. Right here where you can see it's a little shiny here as well. This is the old catalytic converter piece. And this is where I cut it off. So I measured from the weld that's right here, just below the sort of tapered part, right onto the pipe. I measured from here back 3 inches. Now that worked for me. I certainly wouldn't advise you just to, make your 3-inch mark and cut it off. You're going to want to buy your system. You're going to want to bring it home. You're going to want to make some measurements for yourself and just make sure you're not cutting it off too short. That's the last thing you want to do. 3 inches worked for me. I cut mine off. Then I took the filed it all nice and clean. Then I took the sandpaper and I buffed all the rust off it. You're going to want to do that because this pipe right here fits nice and snug over this 2 1/4 inch. This is 2 1/4 inch. Outside, this piece is 2 1/4 inch. On the inside, this is a 2 1/4 inch muffler clamp. So really, really simple. Once you get it all cleaned up, put together, I used a little footstool actually to support this underneath here because I was doing this by myself. Supported it back by the muffler here. You got a couple of just rubber hangers. There's one on this side. There's one around here on the other side. There's one near the back here. I actually took the back exhaust piece off at the same time. I just found it easier because I was working by myself. And well, again, it's just simply in some rubber clamps. But here's the piece in the back right here. This is where I use my 13mm socket. And those little spring clamps, they come off really, really easy. I soaked them in a little bit of penetrating oil and come apart real easy. So inside right here, there's a little donut gasket that's in there, and you're going to want to make sure when you buy this exhaust system that you buy this donut gasket at the same time, because you're not going to get it off the old one. The last thing you want to do is have your exhaust off your car and everything apart, and then you can't use your car to go get this little gasket. So make sure that you buy that. So at the end of the day, you're going to buy 3 parts. It's the gasket that's in here. It's this complete unit, comes all the way through. It's the muffler joined together. It's welded in here. Resonator that's in there, and then this 2 1/4 inch muffler clamp. That's the only parts that you need, and you can see by my list of tools, it's a really, you know, minimal amount of tools, minimal amount of experience. Just again, cut this off here. You know, again, I can't stress enough, measure for yourself to make sure that whatever system you're buying that comes all together here, that it's, you know, it could be a little longer, a little shorter than what I had. And the last thing I want to do is give you some advice about cutting it too short. Another thing that I'll just advise you is that up here, this is where the catalytic converter, that's this piece, comes all the way through. This is the catalytic converter, and then this is where I joined it. That's the same type of little donut gasket that's in there, but I'm going to tell you it's a different part number. So you may or may not want to have that on hand just in case, because you know, it does get jarred around a little bit, and then you don't want it to leak. I was lucky; I didn't buy it. You know, it's minimal dollars, but I didn't buy it, and nor did I need it. So, but once you get this cut apart, this catalytic converter piece right here, it is going to want to fall down. So again, I use the footstool in underneath just to support it. So pretty simple little job. So one last little thing that I'm going to tell you is that these exhaust pipes, or these exhaust systems, they say that they're actually stainless steel. And there are different grades of stainless steel, and what they use in the automotive industry is a little bit different than, you know, what you might find. There's still some metal in this, probably even a fair amount. And if I take this flashlight here, you see there's a little magnet on the end of it. I can stick that right to that, no problem at all. So, you know, they say stainless steel, they say it's going to last you probably longer than, you know, your existing and all that, but I'd be real cautious. If it was me, I expect I'm going to have to replace this again at some point, and I'm certainly going to make sure I keep my receipt, because it does have a lifetime warranty, the one that I bought. And so, you know, I'm going to keep my receipt in case I have to go through this project again. But I will show you on the old one right here, same thing. Look at that, folks. It'll stick on there. So it's, you know, you can see this is rusting up a little bit too at the same time. So there you have it. Look it. It's an easy project. It's a simple thing to do. I was probably done in about 1 hour and 20 minutes. That was laying out my tools. I did jack the vehicle up a little bit when I started to cut it off, just to give myself a little bit more room. But then before I tightened up that clamp right there, I let it back down, kind of rocked everything around a little bit just to make sure that it was lined up in sort of a level position. And like I said, easy project. So hope this video helps you, and you can save yourself a few bucks. Take care.